Hey, and welcome to Living in Lansing, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything in between with life here in Lansing and the greater mid-Michigan area. And like normal, before I forget, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell below so you can stay up to date with all the information we have to share on life here in mid-Michigan. So you're thinking about a move maybe to Okemos. Well, today we're going to hit the pros and the cons of Okemos. We're going to talk about the reasons people move here and maybe some of the frustrations with living in Okemos. So let's jump in and do that. But before I forget, don't forget to stick around at the end of the video. I'm going to share something that I think a lot of people forget to mention when they talk about Okemos. And oh, by the way, I know Okemos well. We sell a lot of real estate there, but more importantly, I've been living in Okemos for the last 9 years and raising my kids here. They've gone to elementary, middle, and high school and graduated high school here in Okemos. So I feel well versed in this subject matter. Stick around. Let's jump in. Let's talk about life in Okemos and what you can expect if you're thinking about making a move here. Okay, so Okemos is probably near the top of your list if you're thinking about a move to the greater Lansing area, and schools are a top priority. Yes, the number one reason people are probably moving to Okemos is our highly ranked school district. Greatschools.org gives it a 9 out of 10. You can go to michiganschooldata.org and many other websites to find official rankings. So just remember, these aren't my opinions about the school district. This is data-driven research that ranks the Okemos School District tops in Michigan, typically in the top 20 across the entire state, and routinely it's been in the number one spot for the greater Lansing mid-Michigan area. So a little bit about our schools here in Okemos. We have one high school, we have two middle schools, that's a 7-8 middle school, and also a 5-6 middle school. And we have 3 elementary schools. In addition to the 3 elementary schools, we have the old central school, which has been converted to a Montessori school for grade school age kids. There are also some daycare options that are affiliated with the school district, but not necessarily a formal school setting that you can look into if that's important for your youngsters before they're ready to head off to kindergarten. So probably the number one reason and one of the biggest pros of moving to the Okemos area is going to be Okemos School District and the educational opportunities here. Not only are educational opportunities great when we look at math and science and reading, but extracurriculars and sports. In Okemos, you're going to find kids doing really well on their SATs, but you're also going to find state championship level tennis players and kids that are competing at nationals in robotics. So the number one reason I think most people are moving to Okemos is probably for the school district. If you're looking to get your kids in a highly ranked school district in the mid-Michigan area, look no further than Okemos potentially. And if you're interested in what your other options are, catch one of our other videos that you can find on our channel where we talk about the top 5 to 7 school districts in the mid-Michigan area. Okay, so maybe you're coming to Okemos for the schools, and maybe not. But even if you're not coming for the schools, we've got our number 2 pro, and that's got to be the location and the convenience with which you can travel around the greater Lansing area, and also the convenience of getting on freeways to take you to other places in Michigan. So Okemos is located just on the east side of Michigan State University. Okemos is technically a school district, and it's located mostly within Meridian Township. Meridian Township has borders with Michigan State University's agricultural fields on the south side of campus. And if you go up Hagedorn Road, which splits Meridian Township and Okemos from the university, you'll find that most places in Okemos reside 10 to 15 minutes or shorter drive to campus. So the location to get in and out of Michigan State, being one of our largest employers in the area, is prime. However, there's other advantages too. Okemos' south border is pretty much the I-96 freeway, and you hop on the I-96 freeway, you can head east and get to Detroit in about an hour. You can head west and get to Grand Rapids in about an hour, or you can buzz down into downtown Lansing. Maybe there's a job at the Capitol, and that's about a 15-20 minute drive tops. So Okemos has really convenient location for all your travel, and it's located right on Grand River. So if you want to stay on the surface streets, you can take Grand River east and you'll find yourself in about 10 minutes in Williamston, or you can take Grand River to the west and you'll find yourself right in downtown East Lansing, right along the university. So I think one of the big pros of Okemos as a community is it has a really convenient location that allows you to get around the greater Lansing area, but also connect to our freeway system so that you can travel around Michigan really easily. And oh, by the way, some of our really great local employers are located in Okemos or right on the borders of Okemos. We already talked about Michigan State, but you'll also find Jackson National located in Okemos, just south of the I-96 freeway on Okemos Road, and also Delta Dental, which is located on Okemos Road, really close to the middle school. So location-wise, Okemos is really fantastic, and traveling around the area is quite easy. We're coming back at the end though, and we're going to talk about one of the cons, which is travel within town. Okay, so you're considering that move to Okemos, and maybe the schools matter, maybe they don't. You're going to really appreciate that it's easy to travel to and from Okemos around Michigan, and it's fairly quick to get around town. So what do you do when your kids aren't in school or you're not at work? Well, we've got a vibrant restaurant scene here in Okemos. For a small town, I think it's really fantastic. Everything from a wine house and dusty cellar to great Thai food. We have Turkish food and barbecue. We have Mexican comfort food, American restaurants, and then all your chain options as well. So we have a great scene for food for a small town. In addition, we've got lots of shopping options from local mom and pop shops, florists, to the big box stores like Myers and Walmart and Kroger for groceries, Target. Ulta Beauty is a favorite of my daughter and my wife. We've got good shopping options and local to Okemos in the Meridian Mall parking lot. During the warm months, we've got the farmers market. Farmers market's bringing in fresh produce, locally sourced and produced honey, whitefish dip from the Upper Peninsula. All kinds of local artists and vendors are setting up shop there. And then during the cold winter months, the farmers market moves out of the parking lot and right inside Meridian Mall. Inside Meridian Mall, you find a bunch of shops, from local shops to chains like K Jewelers, and also entertainment. Lots of entertainment for kids and adults both, especially at the Meridian Mall. There's a huge bounce house. There's also a gymnastics gym in there. And then there's high caliber karting, which has indoor karting, but also things like tons of TVs and sports bar, axe throwing, and other fun activities for both kids and adults. So if you're looking for a place to live that doesn't necessarily feel like the college town next door in East Lansing, but still has some things to do, you may find Meridian Township, and specifically Okemos, offers that great food scene and some things to do on the weekend or when you're not at work. So in addition to being able to spend time at great restaurants or hanging out at high caliber in the mall, throwing axes or driving carts, we have a fantastic trail and park system here in Okemos, which is part of Meridian Township. There are parks that include walking, biking, hiking trails, as well as fishing ponds, and lots of places to spend outdoor time. About 7 or 8 months out of the year in Michigan, it's really nice weather outside. And then there's people that are outside year round, whether it's snowy, icy, cold, or super hot and humid. Because we have so many varieties of things to do outdoors in Okemos and the really nearby areas, I don't think you'll find yourself bored if you prefer to spend your free time outdoors. Check out the Red Cedar River and kayaking, canoeing, and paddleboarding, or just go for a jog on the trail system. Whatever it is, outdoor activities are abundant in Okemos, as well as your options to stay inside, maybe during the colder months. Okay, so you're considering that move to Okemos. You know the good, you know the reasons that you may want to move here. What are some of the drawbacks? Well, like most of Michigan, the weather's probably number one in most people's mind. There are a few months during the winter where it gets quite cold here in mid-Michigan, and Okemos is no exception. In the months of December, January, and February, some people may not enjoy being outside here. In December, we're going to see highs typically in the 30s with lows in the 20s and teens. In January and into early February, a lot of highs in the 20s with lows in the low teens or even single digits. And when we talk about the weather, we can talk about the extremes. When it gets really cold here in Michigan, you can see air temperatures at 10 to 20 below with wind chills as cold as 30 or 35 below. That's really rare. And then we can talk about the other extreme. In late July through late August, you may see air temperatures reaching the low to mid 90s. Pretty rare to get into the mid 90s, but you tack on the humidity and that heat index jumps way up, and we can hit 100 plus heat index once we tack 80-90% humidity on top of a 90-degree day. So I'd say the number one con of Okemos is pretty much a number one con of a lot of Michigan. That's going to be your weather. And the good news is there's 8, 9, 10 months, depending on how you feel about the weather, that it's really beautiful to be outdoors. And Michigan is a great state to be in if you love to spend time outdoors. So while it is a con, it's only a little con. Okay, so you're thinking about Okemos, maybe the weather doesn't bother you. What are some of the other drawbacks of living here? I'm a little biased, as I said in the start. I've lived in Okemos for 9 years. I think it's a great place to live. We've been raising a family here. My kids have really enjoyed it as well. One of the things that I think Okemos doesn't have is much of a nightlife. That's okay for me. I've been raising a family. I don't want to go out at night, but maybe you do. No judgment there. Okemos is probably going to not be a top destination for you if you want to go out. We do have a few bars, a few sports bars. We have Dusty Cellar. That's not only an awesome restaurant, it is a wine bar, but there is not a lot to do late at night and not for younger adults. The good news, Go next door to East Lansing. It's a university town. There's bars all over the place. There's clubs and options just a little bit further down the road into Lansing. So within 20 minutes of Okemos, you can find all the nightlife you may want. But right here in Okemos, it's going to get quiet early. This town draws people that are usually looking to come here for the schools, and those are usually people that are not looking for an excessive amount of nightlife activities. So if that's a drawback for you, maybe Okemos isn't for you, or just know that you can take a short jaunt down Grand River to East Lansing or Lansing. You can find all the bars and clubs that you may want. So the number 2 drawback that we've come up with is not much nightlife here at Okemos. Okay, so you're making a move to Okemos, maybe not, maybe you're still considering it, but what are some of the drawbacks? There aren't a lot. However, I think one that we have to touch on is the cost of housing in Okemos is significantly higher than some nearby areas. Now, the cost of living isn't significantly higher other than the housing portion, because gasoline and groceries can be purchased anywhere within 15-20 minutes, and those costs relatively are the same. But the cost of housing is significantly higher than some of your local areas like Mason or Holt or Grand Ledge. Places within 15 to 30 minutes of Okemos have significantly lower housing costs, both in the cost to purchase a single family home or a condo, and in the cost to potentially rent in an apartment or a private rental of a condo or a home. So if affordable housing costs are really important to you, you may choose not to live in Okemos. If you are looking to live in Okemos proper, it's gonna cost you significantly more than Lansing, and a little bit more typically than areas like Williamston or Hazlitt or East Lansing. So con number 3 for living in Okemos is going to be the cost of housing. And remember, there are good options close by where the cost of housing is significantly lower. And if you're coming here and you want your kids to be in the school, there is the possibility that you could do school of choice. Jump into one of our other videos where we talk about the top school districts in the greater Lansing area, and we hit on school. So con number 3, housing's expensive here. Okay, there you go. Pros and cons of living in Okemos. I'm sure we can get into great detail about other things that you may or may not like about living in Okemos, but those are the big draws, and those are the few drawbacks. There's not a lot. And I said stick around till the end of the video, and I tell you something that people don't often mention about Okemos, and that's this. Okemos is routinely ranked as the #1 place to live in the entire state of Michigan. In fact, niche.com, which is a big draw for many people that are searching data on places to move and live, has ranked Okemos once again #1 in 2024. We've edged out really great places to live like Troy, Novi, Farmington Hills, Birmingham. Okemos routinely ranks in the top 5, but again, we're #1 this year for places to live in the entire state of Michigan. And I think it's a combination of a number of factors, but I think obviously the school district plays into it. I think it's easy and convenient to get around. I think that's really important too. And I think one thing we didn't touch on before is Okemos, in comparison to some of these other communities like Novi or Troy, actually has more affordable housing. In the greater Lansing area, it may be more expensive to get housing in Okemos than probably any other community, but as far as Michigan goes, it's relatively affordable to get housing here in Okemos compared to some of these other top communities to live in. So if Okemos is a place you're strongly considering moving, reach out. We've got all our contact information right there at the bottom of the video. I'd love to chat with you about what Okemos offers and what other options are out there if Okemos isn't the right fit for you. We sell real estate all across the mid-Michigan area. I personally am an expert on Okemos. I've lived here for 9 years. I'd love to talk with you about what Okemos offers that may be of interest to you. So if you'd like help with your real estate needs here in mid-Michigan, find all our contact information below, schedule an appointment, and follow us on the socials for more information on mid-Michigan and living here in the Lansing area.